Hello, everyone, and welcome to Transformational Tuesday, where I bring you experts to help you transform in your career, in your health, in your business, and in all aspects to improve your life. Each and every week, we have an amazing expert that is going to give you strategies that you can apply right away to see that transformation. And today, we are absolutely in for a treat because I had the pleasure of being able to attend and speak at the Periscope Community Summit. And there was this woman that absolutely transformed my life, not just personally, but professionally through Periscope. And I could not wait to interview her on Transformational Tuesday. And her name is Alexa Rose Carlin, our guest for today. Say hello, Alexa.
Hi, everyone. I'm so happy to be here.
Oh my goodness. You guys are so lucky, and you're going to hear why once you hear her story. So Alexa was very, very modest in her bio, but I'm going to let her tell you a little bit more. But one thing you should know is that she is a motivational speaker. She is an author. She is a coach, and she is a rock solid entrepreneur. Let me tell you. She's the founder also of a nonprofit movement called Hello Perfect, and is an avid Periscoper where she inspires people daily to live a life they love. And I would also add, and I know that you probably know this already, is that you're a real influencer, that you are a trailblazer, that you are just a light in the world and have so much to share with everyone. So I just want to thank you so much personally for being on our show, because I was sharing with Alexa right before we started that right on my way to the Periscope Community Summit, I had only been scoping for like a month. I'm like, oh my God, I'm speaking at the summit. I just started scoping and I was feeling a little intimidated. And Alexa did something really amazing that she's going to invite you to, these motivational scopes, okay? And she's going to tell you what Periscope is. And on her scope, she said, do not compare yourself to other people. You can only compare yourself to yourself. And that scope, in those few minutes that I was able to watch it from the airport, it changed my whole energy going into the conference. I just felt really confident and I felt proud and that I belong there. And this is what she does to people. Can you, before you talk about how you became a motivational speaker, can you just tell them your story? Who is Alexa and why do they need to follow you for sure on Periscope?
Well, thank you so much for the beautiful introduction. I'm so grateful that we connected on Periscope. And so, who am I? My story is long, but basically I got on this path through different experiences. Everything that I teach and I talk about is based on a personal experience. So I really talk through a lot of storytelling because I really believe storytelling is the way that you can positively impact people because they can then relate to you and your story. So I started Hello Perfect when I was in college, and that was a product of an experience going through middle school and bullying and low self-esteem and really just wanting to make a positive impact in the world. And I was on this path towards growing this nonprofit and working in the fashion industry right after college, or like that was my plan. You know, we all have this dream plan, and sometimes it goes according to the plan, and sometimes something happens that veers you off the plan. Well, my whole plan was destroyed when, I wouldn't say destroyed, but I'll talk about that a little later. But
Redirected.
yeah, redirected. There you go, better word. Senior year at the University of Florida in college, I was induced into a medical coma all of a sudden. My body went into septic shock. And what that is a bacteria gets into your bloodstream and starts killing all of your organs within hours. 1 in 3 people die from sepsis. And when your body goes into septic shock, it's almost too late. And they never found out the cause of the bacteria, but I was in a coma for 6 days, in the ICU for 10. And I was given a 1% chance of living. The doctors told my mom, sorry, I have a cold. The doctors told my mom, call your family, she has 24 hours to live. Now, when I was in the coma, when I was in the ICU, I was hooked up to 9 different bags of antibiotics. I had a mask on my face, a tube down my throat, and I couldn't move, breathe, or speak on my own. I couldn't even have a glass of water once I was out of the coma. And boy, did I want some water. That was like all I wanted. But I remember vividly what was going on in my mind during this time. And because I couldn't move, breathe, or speak on my own, I still had my mind intact. So what I would do is I would picture my mind to be this pure, healthy pink, because I felt like that was the only thing that was healthy at the time. And the rest of my body was black and rotting away because sepsis was killing it. And I would push down this healthy pink color to the rest of my body to try and heal it. I would push with every ounce of energy I had left until I was discharged from the hospital. And
Whoa!
so that really,
I got chills when you said that. I got chills throughout my body. Oh my God, everybody feel that?
it really, like, that's what I focused on. It was healing my body through the power of my mind. And that really led me down the path to the power of positive thinking. And, 6 months after this experience, I still graduated college on time because it happened in January, graduated in May, moved to New York City to still pursue a career in fashion while growing Hello Perfect. And then I got really sick again because I had all those antibiotics in my system. So I had a compromised immune system, digestive issues, and I ended up having to go and get a rush colonoscopy. I had another deadly bacteria going in my body, and I was then diagnosed with an autoimmune disease. And so that's when post-traumatic stress kicked in, because I was so scared that I was going to get that sick again. So I was living in New York with a few friends, but my whole family lives down in South Florida. And I was living in fear. Every single day I was scared. And really, I couldn't even leave my apartment because of the cold weather made me sick. And a germ on the subway that might not affect my friend made me extremely ill. So there was no way to live. And in January, 1 year actually after I was induced into the coma, I decided to move back home and gain the support from my family. And since then, January 2013 was when I was induced into the coma. And since then, really, I've been on this path towards healing. I'm still struggling daily with my autoimmune disease, but it's been the power of positive thinking. It's been the motivation and my drive to accomplish what I want to accomplish and positively impact the people I encounter that has given me this platform and really this voice to inspire others to live each day to the fullest. And no matter what life hands you, you can always turn tragedy into triumph. And I teach people through that, through my programs, through my writing, through social media, through Periscope, and through speaking as well. And that's why I always say it could be our darkest moments in our lives create the miracles in our future, because it has been this experience that led me to this miracle of inspiring people all over the world.
And, I love that you could have that spiritual connection to even be mindful to do the pink light or even to see positive thinking. You must have studied these like spiritual principles or personal development principles before you got sick to be able to have that grounded.
No? That's the thing. Everyone asks me that. And I was always like, I always believed in the law of attraction, read The Secret, but I was never as spiritual as I am now. And I never studied color healing or using your thoughts to heal you. I did use like thoughts to, give me a parking spot when I couldn't find it, practicing the law of attraction. But it was really after that I started doing all this research. But it was my complete instincts to save myself, knowing that I was not ready to go. I mean, when I was in the coma, that really was when I was out of the coma, because I still had the mask on my face and everything. But when I was in the coma, I remember all of my visions perfectly, like the hallucinations, visions, whatever you want to call it. And there was one where I was running through a field of grass. And this grass was the greenest grass I've ever seen. And this grass does not exist in this reality. And I was running, but I wasn't a body. I was this ball of light running with the wind. And I
Mm.
was free. But I never got to that point thinking that I was dying. I was just really at peace.
Wow. I mean, do you think that was a near-death experience?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I consider it a near-death experience. I mean, the doctors, like, my mom tells me they were shaking their head saying, what a shame, and they were giving me less than 1% chance. So I believe it was, and I really do believe that it was through the power of prayer and through the power of my thoughts that helped heal me, because
Mhm.
also my sister and my best friend at the time, they created a Facebook page called Good Vibes for Alexa, and it got
Mm.
thousands of hits within hours of people all around the world praying for me. Even Mark Cuban, who I met a couple times before then, posted it on his Facebook page asking his
What?
community to pray for me. Yeah,
That's so
so it really
awesome.
was amazing. It was amazing. And this was even before Periscope or anything. And it's just incredible what the power of social media can do for you.
Life was so boring before Periscope. No, I was kidding. I'm like, what did I do?
Yeah.
I love when you said that green grass that didn't even, I mean, that's why I love meditation and want to do more meditation scopes, because there will be times in my meditation that I feel so connected that I'm able to, just be that golden light. That's why I know that your experience was absolutely just being the soul instead of being the body. And my brother passed away when he was 16. And I remember the day before his death, like I had this intuition to spend the weekend with him. Like I just knew somehow. And then when he passed and I saw his body, I knew that that wasn't him. And he came to me in a dream and said, I didn't die too soon. It's not a tragedy. He says, I'm free. And that was my destiny. That was my soul's contract. And you have a contract. And that's you, Alexa. I mean, no matter what happened to your body, your soul's contract to serve and transform and put good vibes in the world is it. And you probably wouldn't be as powerful at it if you hadn't had that experience. I mean, Marianne
Yeah.
Williamson says, our wound is our gift, you know?
Mhm. Yeah, that's what I tell myself every day, because, it has left internal scars, and
Mm-hmm.
it is hard, especially because with autoimmune diseases, just like mental illness or really any disease, like it's invisible to the eye. So people always say, oh, you look fine. Or like when I continue to cancel on hanging out with my friends, they stop asking me because they think like I just don't want to hang out with them. And it has been a struggle, especially when they're like, oh, she's not sick. She looks completely healthy and fine. Like they don't understand what I'm going through. And
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of like living alone, because nobody can really understand. But now through the power of Periscope and sharing it with people, I am still motivational. I am still inspirational, even if I'm feeling sick, because what other option do I have? And just because you don't see it, the struggle, doesn't mean I'm not. But I'm not going to sit here and be like, pity Alexa, when this is part of my journey, and I'm not going to let a day go by, acting that way just so the world can see me sick.
Exactly. And, they always say that saying, why do bad things happen to good people? And, you try to rack your brain to think of an explanation, but you have such a big heart and you're such a giving person and you have a platform. Even before you thought you had a platform with the good vibe. And so you're being able to share your information is because people look for you for advice. They look to listen to you. And what I'm really curious about, because I don't want to Periscope every day. I put myself to Periscope every day at 11:11 to stop, drop, and scope, align with the divine, right? And I
Hmm.
don't, some days, and I have no excuses, right? I mean, I just don't feel like being on TV and, to being
Yeah.
on camera. And I just talk myself into it because it's not about me, it's about them. But how do you motivate when you're not feeling well?
So the past well, yeah, right after the Periscope Summit, I was really sick. And that week I told my community, like, morning motivation is not gonna happen, really, because I just couldn't get myself up to it. And they were very understanding about that. But that's when I decided, I was like, hey, I could cancel morning motivation because it's not coming authentically. And I'm not going to fake being motivated when I'm so sick. And I could cancel it, or I can be open and vulnerable and share what I'm going through with my community so they can understand. And that was the turning point, because I have shared my whole near-death experience, but it was only recently that I've shared my experience with this autoimmune disease. That is very personal, and it was very vulnerable and took a lot of strength to share it with everybody. But once I did, I received hundreds of emails from my community, all sharing their stories with me, all telling me how how I inspired them to open up, and how my story, one person said, could save her life because she didn't know what was going on, and my experience sounds like exactly what she's going on, and now she knows the next steps. And it was just amazing. Like it really was incredible. And so from that, I've been able to be motivated to get on Periscope, because even if I'm not feeling great, and my community can totally tell when I'm feeling good and when I'm not feeling good, but even if I'm not feeling great, every time I end the broadcast, I feel so much better. Because just as much as I motivate and inspire them, they do the same with me, with their positive words, their positive energy, their prayers, the emails I receive, the tweets. It's so incredible. And that's why I'm so grateful. I actually wrote a whole blog post about how grateful I am about my community on alexacarlin.com. And they just inspire me to keep on going.
And that's ALEXACARLIN. And I'm going to put that in the description on YouTube so that you can definitely, alexacarlin.com. So we've been talking about this Periscope thing, and I know there's some very strange people that don't know what Periscope is. Like I went into my hot yoga studio and I asked them, I said, can I do an interview after hot yoga with the teacher? And my Samba teacher, I asked her if we could Periscope it, because I just feel there's so many cool things in the world that you want to share with everybody. Sharing is caring. But, you know, yes. I think we need to share for the people that don't know what Periscope is and why they should be on it. Can you tell them what is Periscope?
Yeah, definitely. So Periscope is a live streaming app that Twitter bought, and it basically allows you to broadcast your world to the rest of the world, and people can interact with you in real time. So for example, and you can only broadcast on your phone. So for example, I would be on my phone and I would be showing myself, and I would be talking to people through the phone, and people will be commenting and giving hearts, showing that they like what you're saying. And it's really cool because, say if Deb is on my channel and she says, "Hi Alexa," I can say back, "Hi Deb," in real time. And no other platform can give that to you, because say for example, a YouTube video, you may comment on it, the person that owns the YouTube video may comment back, and then the conversation ends there. I'm having full conversation with hundreds of people daily, and I get to really know them, and they get to really know me. It's kind of like a reality show in your pocket. And it's really cool because you can share what you're seeing, what you're thinking, and everything to the world. And it's been a tremendous change in my life and my business.
Yeah, and I really try to get it across, because I do small business consulting to business owners, that if they're not on Periscope, they're literally leaving money on the table, because it's not just a reality show. It also enables people to see behind the scenes into your company. Like you said, people get to know you, the vulnerable side of you, so that they trust you and want to, you know, buy every program and every book and everything that you have or everything you do. Can you talk about how it benefits businesses? Because I know from your School of Scope, which you can talk about if you'd like, it just like changed my whole way of periscoping, because I think people get on and they don't know how to scope and they do it wrong and then they give up. Luckily I didn't, but if I didn't have your program, I might have.
Yeah, so Periscope allowed me to quit my 9-to-5 job and focus on my passion full time.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so because like the first 30 days, and I started with 0 followers. The first 30 days, I landed a $2,000 sponsorship deal. I sold tons of my books, which I published a cookbook that's available on Amazon. sold tons of books. I created a bracelet, a Good Vibe Tribe bracelet with my community, sold that, and I've landed 5 speaking engagements from Periscope alone. So it's been an incredible tool. I know, high five through the camera. It's been an incredible tool. I have this pen leaked on my hand when I was writing today. But it's an incredible tool for my business. So I created my first online program called the School of Scope. I have this thing right here you can check out, schoolofscope.com.
Ooh.
And it teaches you everything step by step on how I grew my business, how I grew my tribe, how I increased all of my social media following on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram by 200%, because if you're on Periscope and growing, your other platforms are just going to grow with it. And it teaches you everything. And the reason I created this program is because it changed my life personally and professionally. And my whole mission is to help people live their dreams. So Periscope, no matter what industry you are in, it can really change the way you do business.
And your program is like so valuable and so freaking affordable. I don't know if it's still at the same low rate when I bought it, but I was like, wow, this is free. I would pay that much for one of the modules, and there's 5 modules, and it has videos, and it has handouts, and it has a script of what to scope and everything like that.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's only $47, and everyone's like, is it $47 a month? No, it's $47 one-time fee, lifetime access. And the reason I made it so inexpensive was because I really want to see my community benefit on Periscope, because it's just an incredible tool. And if you know how to do it, if you know how to scope and be yourself while promoting your business and selling your products the right way, you could be making easy like an extra stream of revenue so easily, and it's so much fun without even really trying, to be honest.
It's so interesting you said that, because and I'm not like endorsing her for money or anything. I just love her and I think it's an amazing program. So I want you guys to take it absolutely authentically. When I started, I was like, did I tell you my Instagram's almost at 3,000? It's like crazy.
I saw that. That's amazing.
It was like especially Instagram for some reason, but my Facebook is almost at its maximum of 5,000. My Instagram, because my Instagram before was going up by 50, and it tripled. It went up by 150 a week just by, letting people know that I was going to Periscope. And so, but one of the things that I hear, because I work with a lot of small business doing one-on-one consulting, is, they're concerned about the camera. They don't know what to say. They don't know how to say it. I mean, both you and I are motivational speakers, so it's easy for us to speak. But for some people that are not as comfortable on camera or not as comfortable speaking, what tips can you give them to use Periscope the right way, besides getting your program, of course, schoolofscope.com?
Yeah, so a lot of people have asked, like, what would be my first scope, because I'm not comfortable in front of the camera. And I always say, talk about what you're passionate about. So hopefully that has to do with your business also, because if you talk about what you're passionate about, it will come out authentically, it will come out easily, and you have to pretend like you're at a dinner table with some of your closest friends and you're just having a conversation. Because Periscope's not like YouTube where you have to kind of like perform and it's not like a show, it's more like a conversation. And because you're talking with people, not at people. And so my number one tip for the first time you scope is to have a topic in mind and a layout. So say if you are in the business of health coaching, so you want to become an expert on Periscope in the health field. So your first scope, well, it could be about you, but if you want to do a scope about a certain thing that you're interested in right now, like the number, like 5 main ingredients for anti-IV or something like that, you can then have your tips written out on paper next to where you're scoping. So in case people aren't interacting with you, you can continue the conversation easily, have those notes in place so you don't get stuck. Because that's what people fear the most, that they're going to just like freeze because it's live. But really, it's just about having a conversation. And if you know what you're talking about, if you know the topic, then you'll be completely fine. And once it starts to feel like awkward a little bit, you could just end the broadcast. You could say, all right, thanks for tuning in. Even if no one's on, because people might watch the replay. The replay is up for 24 hours, by the way. You would say, thanks for tuning in. I will be back tomorrow talking about this. And you can end it. So pay attention to your feelings, but really have a topic in mind. You can have notes. Nobody will see them. And just start, because the only way to get better is to start and to practice.
It's so true. And what I love about Periscope is that you don't have to be perfect, you know? So, you know, with YouTube, you know, see these videos, not mine, but other videos, and there's like lighting everywhere, and there's sets, and everything is like to the T. Everything is so professionally produced. And when I first started Periscope, until I did your program, I was doing Periscope like I did YouTube, and I was talking at them instead of with them. And I think that was the major thing I got from your program, is the conversational piece with the tribe. Because it wasn't until I actually had people that would come on every day. Like, it reminded me when I was a professor and I had students in my class, I was calling them by name. I'd be like, okay, what was the first point? Who knows the answer?
Right.
Beulah, and then they would answer it, and I would know, what do you think, Raphael? What do you think? You know, and I would start naming their names like they were. So it brought me back to the love that I had for being a professor, because I got to do that. And even some of my students from my university were on. So I think that's super helpful.
Wow.
Yeah, it's so crazy. Yeah, I was like, oh my God, you found me, because they're my friends on Instagram. So I think that's a real game changer, that not to treat it like the same platform. Somebody said Periscope is if Twitter and YouTube like had a baby or something like that. I think Danielle Ford said that. Yeah, Twitter and YouTube had a baby. So how did you build up your Good Vibe Tribe? Can you talk to them about your Good Vibe Tribe?
Yeah, so I started with 0 followers on Periscope, because I didn't come in with a big Twitter following. And I just started to, you know, I started my morning motivation series, which I do a morning motivational broadcast at the same time, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, every Monday through Friday. And so it was going to be live. Around 1,000 followers, my community was like, we need a hashtag. And because it was really connecting all of these positive people on Periscope, because, you know, like attracts like, so it's all positive people on my channel, which is amazing. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, okay, let's create one. So together we came up with the Good Vibe Tribe, because we spread the good vibes all over the world. And that's really connected us. And someone created a Twitter account. Randomly, someone in the community created like a fan Twitter account for the Good Vibe Tribe. Then someone created a Facebook group, and it
wasn't even you. It was your tribe.
It wasn't me.
Yeah. Wow, that's cool.
It wasn't me. Yeah. Now I manage the Facebook group, but I still don't manage the Twitter page. And yeah, it's been really organic and amazing. And it was because people took ownership in it, because it wasn't just the Alexa Carlin show. It was a community that we're all striving for the same thing. We're all striving to live a happy and healthy, fulfilled life. And coming on my channel, you really feel that energy. And I think that's how I really grew my tribe, is being my authentic self and getting to know my audience by name, and not being perfect at all. Like, one of my first Periscopes, I was in my pool, and I had my phone by the side, and I was on like my tripod I just got. And I was in the pool. You couldn't see anything because I was underwater. All you could see is my face. And I was having so much fun. And it was like outside, I had the music on, and we were just talking about like spending time with yourself. Like, I think it was like Self-Love Sunday, like doing things for yourself. And all of a sudden the wind blew a little bit, and boom, my phone fell in the pool, and I had the iPhone 6. Yes. And I was like, oh my God. And I took out my phone. It was like almost a brand new phone. And I threw it to my dad. And I was like, get it in rice, get it in rice. And I jump out of the pool, I dry off, I go inside, and my dad put the phone in rice. And I look down, and everyone's still on Periscope. It didn't shut off. and the hearts are flowing and people are commenting like crazy.
Save the phone. Save the phone.
And
Positive
I was
vibes on
like,
the phone.
it was so crazy. And instead of turning off the phone, which would be the smart thing to do, because that's the first thing you have to do in order to not ruin your phone,
Oh.
I am so, like, I love my community so much that I picked up the bag of rice and I was like, hi guys, oh my God. Like, I started talking to them, and that got so many viewers. I actually have the video on my YouTube channel. It has like maybe over 1,000 hits, but I'm not that big on YouTube.
I've got to see it. I've got to see it.
Yeah. It actually turned into one of like the best Periscopes because it was unedited and it was live and it showed the beauty of imperfection, put it that way.
Yeah, that's what I love. I mean, Brene Brown, she's one of my favorite TED speakers.
I love her.
And just that talk about vulnerability. And that's, I think some people, especially people that are not used to these social media platforms, just say social media isn't for me, it's not for my business. But it's like different yoga. I tried so many yogas. This yoga made me sick. This yoga made me nauseous. This yoga drove me crazy until I discovered hot yoga, which I love. So there's different social media platforms. And I know so many people that just feel like Periscope, I know I sound like an evangelist of Periscope. Periscope is not paying me yet. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, you never know. I am open and receptive to all contracts and spokesperson opportunities. Thank you. You like that? Every day I scope from Starbucks and I say, this scope is being brought to you by Starbucks for your energy needs.
Well, that's good. Yeah, you never know.
Hashtagging them, you never know, right? Because if you were able to quit your 9 to 5, think what's possible for everyone. So you're being real and raw. One of the things that you also mentioned in your School of Scope course is about, you're able to really get your community vested by involving them, right? By asking them questions. And for business, this is like a focus group. You could have them name the next product, Chipotle, right?
Exactly. Like if you're trying to decide on a color, ask your audience, like, why are you going to decide on orange if everybody wants green? This is like the perfect way. Like I said earlier, I developed a bracelet with my community because everyone's like, oh, I want a Good Vibe Tribe item. So we're like, oh, all these, I always wear like tons of bracelets, but all of them have a lot of meaning to me. And so I talk about that. So people are like, let's develop a Good Vibe Tribe bracelet because it would have so much meaning. So I didn't just make a bracelet and be like, oh, okay, here, buy this bracelet. We did it together. They picked out the if you could see it, they picked out the color, font, the peace sign, like everything. So, so then the first day that it was on sale, I made back all my money. So
of course they bought it because they created it.
Exactly.
Are you listening, Are you listening? For you brands that are not on Periscope, your people are going to tell you what they want. You're going to make it and then sell it because they came up with it. It's brilliant. It's brilliant.
Think about it. Think about like Starbucks, for example. You know how they do those Christmas cups? Yeah, and then like the red ones, the hot ones. Well, what if they created a cup that they produced with their audience, and like everyone had a different design? Like, oh, I want a yin yang, I want a flower, I want a heart, and like people sent in their designs, but they developed it through Periscope. Like I would go to Starbucks just to get that cup. That's the power of Periscope. People are involved and people start to take ownership.
And it's so important also with big brands because every conference I go to is always talking about millennials, which I'm sure you're one, 18 to 33, where they like to be engaged. Jaguar is coming to Southern California, and they said, we really want to get the 18 to 33-year-old crowd. Instead of advertising, we're going to create a racetrack so that they could race around the track. I'm like,
oh, wow.
Yeah. So getting that engagement is the beauty of being on Periscope and to be able to really contribute and to make something. Yeah, I love that. I love that. Oh, that reminds me of a scope. So the other day, I went to the Verizon store because I wanted to get Wi-Fi. I said, if I'm going to be a serious scoper, I need to have Wi-Fi all the time. So I went into Verizon, and that store, it's like the flagship new store in Santa Monica. They didn't know what Periscope was. So I said, would you mind if I scoped? I'll teach you right now. And I started teaching, and then people on my Periscope, they were negotiating for me. They're like, no, you should get this. And ask them if they'll throw in the headphones, and ask them if they could give you so they like were telling me what to ask, especially the guys.
Wow.
Guys loved it. So they were giving me all what to say. And then at the end of it, the Verizon said, oh, we should have you teach classes here. I'm like, great. So now I'm going to be doing Periscope workshops in the Verizon store.
Oh, wow. That's really cool. Yeah, exactly. Cool? Yeah, very cool. Think about it even for health. Like I've seen big fitness people, but for me, like I did this one scope of like workouts at home with Alexa, and I was working out at home. I connected my phone to my Apple TV so I could stand far away and still read the comments, and everybody could see what workout I was doing. And then all of a sudden it switched. Instead of me being the personal trainer, they were the personal trainer. And I had like 70 trainers telling me, do 100 squats, do burpees. And I was listening to them. And it was like a 45-minute scope of people like instructing me of what type of fitness to do. It was awesome. But it can work both ways. It's really cool.
Wow. I know we're spending the whole time talking about Periscope, and one of the reasons that I wanted to have you, especially because you're a coach, is to talk about how to deal with difficult challenges. My YouTube channel, I started it, 6 months ago, and I would do all these motivational topics, and the one scope that got the most views was on how to deal with it, like a difficult divorce. Somebody was going through a divorce and they did yoga for 90 days. And so in realizing that my audience really wants to know, what do you do when the stuff hits the fan? I like to say stuff, right? When the stuff hits the fan, and I know with you going through an illness, do you give people that are feeling frustrated, they hate their 9-to-5 job, example, because most people I meet, they don't have a joy like we do. They have a job, but just over broke, and they're feeling really frustrated because they don't even have time to download the Periscope app, much less to look into doing it, because their job that they don't like, that they're not on purpose, is taking over their soul. What advice do you have for them to be able to go to the next level, transform their lives?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are in that situation. The first step I would say is to get a journal and start journaling out your feelings, any negative thoughts that you have, because when you put it in a journal, you're taking it out of here and you're putting it on paper, and it doesn't have to be complete sentences. It's just all of your feelings into this journal, because then you close it and nobody has to read it, and it's really like taking that weight off your shoulders. That's one of the things that helped me get out of post-traumatic stress disorder. And I know that's different than like overcoming like struggles with your job, but in the sense it's still a struggle and it's still an obstacle to overcome. And journaling, I have tons of journals. I have the one I'm working on right here, but really just journaling out like everything that you're feeling, it helps tremendously. And then you'll begin to see how your words will no longer be negative, and it will start to get positive, because that's how your mind wants to work. You want to be positive. You want to be happy. And so once you get the negative feelings out, then start a new page and write out your vision. And it's not goals, it's your vision. What do you want in your life? Where do you want to be? What do you see for yourself? Who are you? And so when you journal out that vision, you'll start to get a better picture of the life you want to live. Once you have that picture, you can plant that seed in your head, and you can visualize that picture every single night before you go to bed. The last 5 minutes of the day before you shut your eyes are the most important minutes of your entire day. A lot of people think it's in the morning. It's actually the 5 minutes before you go to sleep, because whatever you are thinking, you are then manifesting in your sleep for 8 hours, 7 hours, however long you sleep, because those thoughts are what you're falling asleep to. I mean, it makes perfect sense if you really think about it. So if you focus on your vision, and I say visualize, because you have to visualize your vision and see it in like color, and like if for example, my vision is to travel the world, sharing my story through speaking and, making money from it. And so I'll visualize myself on stage in London or on stage in Germany, and I'll see what I'm wearing. I'll see what the audience looks like. I'll feel the heat from the lights. I'm holding the microphone, or the microphone on my ear. Like, I'll picture all the details. Like, I'll see the goosebumps on my skin, because I still get nervous before I speak. And because of that, your subconscious mind thinks you're really on stage. Because unlike your conscious mind, your subconscious has to accept everything that is given. Like, your conscious mind is like, if I say, oh, do you want a drink? You could say, oh, no, thank you. But your subconscious mind is different. Whatever you feed it, it must accept. So if you are visualizing your vision, then you're tricking your mind to thinking that it's reality, and it will manifest that much quicker. So if you can write out your vision and look at it and think about it every single day, when you're at work, when you're in the shower, when you're laying in bed, you will actually be manifesting it to come true, to get out of that 9-to-5 job, or get out of whatever is causing you stress and illness and dis-ease in your body, because it is powerful that way. And that way, you'll get different ideas and thoughts coming into your head of knowing what's the next step to get me from where I am today to where I want to be.
That is such good advice, girl. You know what I loved about what you said? I love her. Oh my God. I love it, love it, love it. I love it. It's because one of the things that my mom was a very positive person. She still is. And for a lot of time, and I'm a life coach and a counselor and a spiritual counselor. And a lot of times I would judge myself because I would have negative thoughts. I'm like, oh, I should be better than this. I should be more enlightened than this. And I heard a speaker, Panache Desai, who said, emotions are just energy in motion, and to feel our feelings. And your idea of writing it out, and I know people talk about journaling all the time, but you gave an instant reframe for that. So you get it out because you don't want to hold on to it, because then it literally becomes depression. Emotions that are not expression become depression. And, men have a tendency to get angry, and women have a tendency to get angry at ourselves. Like, men explode and women implode, as a general rule, not all, but, many times the feminine energy is usually more imploding. And so to have a tool to visualize, and I have to move, and I've been literally sad. And then I realized, no, it's just a call to get closer to the beach. I've been saying I want to be closer to the beach. If I'm going to pay all this money, might as well be back so I can hear the ocean. So I'm going to do that tonight, girl. That is good.
Because
that's quotable, tweetable. Your last 5 minutes, don't forget, give them your Twitter handle.
It's Alexa Rose Carlin, the same on Twitter, Instagram,
See, on her bulletin
and
board,
Periscope.
it's above her head. See above her head, Alexa Rose Carlin. There you go. So she said your last 5 minutes of the day are the most important. At Alexa Rose Carlin, hashtag Transformational Tuesday. Do it.
Yes, do it. That's a tweetable. Yeah, I mean, you're always going to have negative thoughts. That's just the way our mind works. And if you put yourself down for it, that's just another negative thought. And so allow them to pass through. Don't harp on it. Don't think so much about it. You allow it to pass through, and that takes time. So what helped me is, because I had tons of negative thoughts when I was going through post-traumatic stress, is journaling it out, because I really I didn't want to keep on talking about it to other people. It was just months and months, and nobody really wants to hear someone else's problems all the time, even if they're your best friend or whatnot, because they want to be happy too. So it really was a journal that helped me.
Did you have any, I know PTSD manifests in different ways. Did you have anxiety, and how did you let that go?
Yeah, I had tons of anxiety. Like, when my heart would beat a little bit fast, I would get so anxious that I was going into septic shock again, because that was one of the things that I had, was my heart beating uncontrollably. And so it would get worse because of anxiety, that makes the heart beat faster. So I had tons of anxiety. And It was a long process overcoming PTSD, but I would say there was one key turning moment, and it was when I reframed a question I kept on asking myself. So I kept on asking myself, why me, why me, why me? You know, when it happened, I was 21. So when I was struggling with PTSD, I was 22. And I was like, I'm this 22-year-old. I can't do the things that everyone else is doing. Like, why did this have to happen to me? And I'm sure a lot of us ask that, you know, if we're fired from a job, or even if we say the wrong thing to our spouse and it blows up to a fight, you're like, why did I do that? Why? And that question, why, can drive you crazy. So I had this turning moment, which happened through journaling. I have tons of epiphanies as I'm journaling, just out my thoughts. And I stopped asking myself, why did this happen to me? And I began asking myself, why did this happen for me? And from that point on, that's a treatable.
Treatable. Okay, go ahead.
Not why did this happen to me? Why did this happen for me? Because every experience in our life is happening for us for a reason, to lead us to the person we are supposed to be.
Amen,
and
sister.
once I realized that, it was completely a mind shift. Because every single day then I would not try to figure out why, because you'll probably never know why, but I realized that I have a gift, that I survived for a reason, and I'm gonna do something about it. And also, I was only 22, and I'm like, I can't live the rest of my life like this. I have to make a change. There's nothing external that's gonna change me. I have to do it inside. And I knew my passion was worth more to me than these negative feelings, and really my passion helped motivate me every single day to get out of that darkness.
Oh my God, that was really, really profound. I'm just thinking about all the uses in my life, like even my landlord raising my rent. Instead of saying, why did this happen to me? I said, why did this happen for me? Because almost every situation in our life, it's how we perceive it. So we could call it a challenge, or we could call it a time of expansion. It's really the frame that we look at our world. And like you said, we can't change our external circumstances, but we can change the way we perceive it and how we feel about it.
Yes, exactly.
Love that. Well, I want everyone to be able to stay in contact with you. So can you give out all your social media platforms? And I'll also put it in the YouTube description.
Yes. So Alexa Rose Carlin is where you can find me everywhere on Instagram, Twitter, and Periscope, Alexa Rose Carlin. But you can also connect with me on my website. I have another one of these things.
Ooh,
I use these for
I need some of those.
I just made them this weekend. So if you go to alexacarlin.com, on the top, you'll be able to connect with me on all my social media. I post a new blog every single Wednesday, and my story is on there, my cookbook with all the recipes that helped heal me. You can find there the Good Vibe Tribe bracelet you can find there.
Really?
It's basically my home base for everything. So connect with me, alexacarlin.com. And one of the most popular things that my tribe signs up for is my morning motivation emails, which I send out every Monday to kick off the week. So when you go to this website, on the top menu bar, it says join. You just put your name and email. I don't spam, but every Monday you will get a personalized, your name's in it and everything, email from me to help you kick off the week on the right note to help manifest your dreams.
I love that. That is so sweet of you. alexacarlin.com. I got to write mine out. I have it on like a whiteboard, but I think that's easier to read. Amazing. And so I'm sure people are going to want to join you. It's 10 a.m. Eastern. So that's 11, 12, 1. So that's 7 o'clock Pacific. Yes.
Yes, for Periscope. I was like, what are you talking about? Yes, Periscope, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, my morning motivation.
And that's perfect for people here in LA, because most of us have long commutes, and not that we would be driving and scoping or driving and watching, but we can listen. I plug in Periscope on my audio, so instead of listening to talk radio, I listen to scopes. So now that I know your time, I'll set an alarm, now the Pacific time, so that I can just listen to you. that's a great idea I just had. I can never miss a scope with Alexa. Okay, great. So I could be in the Good Vibes Tribe for live, not on the replay. Yes.
Definitely check it out. And on Periscope, it's Alexa Rose Carlin.
And you also mentioned you had some programs. What are those programs and where can we find them? I'm sure on your website, but what are they?
Yeah, the program is the School of Scope, which you can find on my website, but schoolofscope.com. And then I'm also now putting out a 3-month premium coaching with me. So that's what it is right now. So I've been working with some people, especially entrepreneurs that are ready to take their ideas to fruition. And then, also anybody that it needs that mindset change. So it's very hands-on. It's very step-by-step. It's not theoretical, but it's actually, here's how to get from A to B to C to D, and you will see changes in a matter of 3 months. So you can find all that on alexacarlin.com. There's a menu bar that says work with me. I'm working on some new programs. So definitely stay in touch. And I am working on my next book, which I'm excited about.
Oh, I knew it. I knew you have another book. Yes, definitely. I'm working on my next book too. So I'll be excited to connect with you on that. That's awesome. So I'm so grateful. You guys, she's 3 hours ahead, those of you that are Pacific time, Eastern time. So I really, really appreciate you staying up and being so energetic and alive and exuberant and just all of your wisdom. I definitely want to have you back on the show because what's going to happen is my people are going to have all these questions and I'm going to want to ask them to you. So hopefully you'll come back on Transformational Tuesday. We're here every single week with a new expert speaker. And let's all just send positive vibes to Alexa. Everybody?
Oh, thank you so much.
Yes, we are sending you positive vibes and knowing that everything you touch turns to gold. And I know that your School of Scope program is going to continue to grow and you're speaking. Definitely, I already see that. I already know that. I remember the picture I saw on your website. There was you with a little earpiece. I'm like, oh, wow, she's like a female Anthony Robbins. I'm like, I can see her on all these. When you mention all those stages, it's done, girl. And so it is. I just affirm that. I know that. And I know you're going to be scoping from there and going to be like, heart, heart, heart. That's it. I knew it. I knew it to be true. So, and that's what's so important about having each other is we need to have positive people and like your tribe, my community, to know the truth for us. And so that's part of what we're modeling, both Alexa and I in Periscope. And we invite you to have your voice and let your authentic, vulnerable, imperfect voice be heard. One more thing I know you want to mention. Do you want to talk about the special day you're doing later this month of November?
Oh, yes. On November 13th, which is a Friday, it is World Kindness Day. And I'm bringing it to Periscope to spread the kindness. So you can check it out on my Facebook page, which you could connect with from alexacarlin.com. But basically on World Kindness Day, I'm having tons of influential Periscopers ignite a movement of kindness by performing a random act of kindness live on Periscope and then challenging 3 people to do a random act of kindness, because the best way to spread kindness really is to show other people, what you're doing, because then they are inspired to pay it forward as well. And yes, that's taking place November 13th. Check out the details on Facebook, facebook.com/Alexa Carlin.
And I just want to say that you are my inspiration, that before I met you and did your School of Scope, I scope randomly. It wasn't focused. And now Monday through Friday, every day I'm scoping. And so my community is blessed because of you. So you already did pay it forward tremendously with everybody that I impact. And then because I coach people, then I have one of my clients that's probably she went from 0 to 700. I was teaching her what you taught me. Yeah. So you see this, my company is Synergy Unlimited. We're better together. And so we can absolutely blow the internet up with positivity because light is so much more powerful than darkness. And you know that from your pink light experience of your turning a body that seemingly had illness and septic shock into wholeness, vitality. And that's the truth that everybody knows for you. And that's why you're just going to be just taking off. You'll say, I remember when, right? When you see her everywhere, you're going to be like, oh my God, I remember seeing her on that show.
Yeah. Well, thank
Okay,
you
well,
so much for having me. I love talking about this, and I love talking with you, and I really appreciate it.
yes, and I will be coming to South Florida, and hopefully you'll be coming here soon. So I want to thank you all for tuning in, and I want to invite you actually to ask questions and comments. You can tweet myself at Deborah Deras and also Alexa Rose Carlin at Twitter, but you can also write comments below in the little box, and we will definitely get them answered for you. My name is Deborah Deras. I am a motivational speaker, author of Confessions of an Adrenaline Addict, which, by the way, you can get at Adrenaline Addict book. And I am here to serve you each and every Tuesday on Transformational Tuesday. And I want you to remember that with the power of synergy, anything is possible. Thank you, Alexa.
Thank you.